All right, happy Friday afternoon. Some news of note relating to the 49ers. The Houston Texans have released their center, Justin Britt, in a move that saves about $3 million in 2023 salary cap space. And you may wonder, what does this have to do with the 49ers? Well, Houston is coached by DeMeco Ryans, who poached the 49ers pass game coordinator Bobby Slowick to be the Texans OC. And that means that Jake Brendel, the 49ers center here this past season, might be getting some interest from the Texans. And now potential interest from Houston is much more likely because Houston officially has a vacancy at center. Ever since Bobby Slowick left San Francisco to go to the Texans, this was something that had been on the radar, that had been chatted about, that I think the 49ers might have to compete with to retain Jake Brendel. Now, John Lynch acknowledged this was a concern at the NFL Combine. This was one of my specific questions to him in our interview following the podium session in Indianapolis. And I said, you have a coaching staff that just left to Houston. Bobby Slowick obviously is a disciple of Kyle Shanahan's. The center position is extremely plugged in with what the coaching staff has to do. The center has to identify rotations along the defensive line and safety rotations further downfield in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. This is a position where a coach wants a player that he is cerebrally comfortable with. So I asked John, does this mean that you're worried that it's going to be harder to re-sign Jake Brendel because some of your coaching disciples have gone elsewhere and they're trying to establish similar systems, but systems of their own at different places, such as Bobby Slowick in Houston? And John Lynch said that this absolutely is a concern. So if anything, this is going to improve the market situation from Jake Brendel's point of view, because I think there are now at least two teams that are going to be interested in his services. Now, if you're new to the Jake Brendel analysis, he was really, really good for the 49ers this past season. This is a guy that was drafted back in 2016 out of UCLA, didn't get his chance to start in the National Football League until this past season. Injuries, roster situations, all kinds of things that were outside of Jake Brendel's control prevented him from getting a firm chance to deliver at the NFL level until this past season. But he delivered. Oh boy, did he deliver this past year. Number 3 amongst all centers in pass block efficiency, comparable to the top guy in the league, Corey Linsley. And we talk about Corey Linsley as a perennial All-Pro. We also know that Jake Brendel can run block. I mean, one of the highlights of the season for the 49ers was in Mexico City when he was 40 yards out in front of the line of scrimmage blocking Budda Baker, a player who's, 120 pounds lighter than him. Brendel was moving just as well as Budda Baker on that play. The agility in the open field was impressive. So Brendel, this is a late bloomer, but he's doing the run blocking well. He's doing the pass blocking well. He's handling the cerebral side of the game well. He's a player the 49ers absolutely want to re-sign, and that was verified by John Lynch after I asked him at the NFL Combine as well. So competition, because the Houston Texans no longer have Justin Britt. They released him, and they might have released him because they're eyeing Jake Brendel. So who's going to pay more for Jake Brendel, the 49ers or the Texans? To me, it seems that Brendel just wants a fair deal. But what does a fair deal constitute? Well, the top centers in the game are making around $10 million a year, maybe a little bit more than that now. Brendel's coming off a year where he was essentially making the minimum. Alex Mack was obviously one of the top centers in the game a few years before he retired. In his final season with the 49ers, made about $5 million. I think that Brendel's market comes in a little bit lower than that, but maybe the 49ers have to be ready to pay $3 to $4 million for Jake Brendel, given the season that he just had. And that competition with the Texans, it definitely is something to keep an eye out for. The 49ers cannot take steps back along their offensive line. Maybe they can upgrade the right tackle position even without Mike McGlinchey. I know the other 3 spots are poised to stay the same, with Trent Williams at left tackle, with Aaron Banks at left guard, and with Spencer Burford and maybe even Daniel Brunskill at right guard. Brunskill's going to be a free agent here, so the 49ers have to think about bringing him back. But right tackle and center are question marks moving forward. And we could talk about all the different things they can do at right tackle, and I definitely will in a different video. But center is one where Brendel has proven himself now over this last season to play, and the 49ers definitely want to keep that steady and constant. If they don't get Brendel back, well, then maybe you absolutely have to re-sign Daniel Brunskill, who could play that center position as well. Remember when everybody was worried about Alex Mack leaving and Brendel wouldn't be able to get the job done and the 49ers had to go get J.C. Treader and all this and all that? Brendel proved a lot of concerns wrong, but now the 49ers need to make sure that concerns do not re-arise at that center position. All right, everybody, take care. This has been a quick one. I'm going to come out with a Purdy and Lance video a little bit later on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Everybody, have a good one.